David Menzies for Rebel News here at Queen's Park in Toronto. And folks, I finally have some good news to report on this disgusting wooden coffin that has entombed the statue of Sir John A. Macdonald these past 5 years. Namely, it is coming down, finally. Indeed, the Ontario government's Board of Internal Economy recently voted to remove the plywood around the Sir John A. Macdonald. It was an edifice that was erected in 1894. Now, the fact is, this ridiculous shroud should never have gone up in the first place. The origin story here dates back to the so-called Summer of Love in 2020, when the reprobates representing Black Lives Matter and Antifa were routinely vandalizing the statue. So what was the solution? Well, let's not incite the mob. Let's board up Sir John A. Macdonald. Yes, that's right. The government bent the knee to criminals that were routinely vandalizing the Sir John statue. And what makes this even more despicable, folks, is that it was another glaring failure, at least for those who are conservatives, when it comes to Premier Doug Ford. In 2018, when the city of Victoria, BC was ahead of the cancel culture curve regarding our first Prime Minister, they were taking their statue down, and Premier Ford said, hey, if you got a problem with your Sir John A. Macdonald statue, send it to Ontario. We will display it here with pride. What happened in less than 2 years? Doug Ford, the province's chief cherry cheesecake enthusiast, went to a devout supporter of Sir John A. Macdonald to joining the cancel culture mob himself. Absolutely despicable. Now, as you can see, the coffin is still standing. That's because the government said it is going to take it down sometime this summer, which by my math is anywhere between June 21st and September 21st. Ah, behold the speed of government. So if we have to pick a date, how about July 1st, Dominion Day, aka Canada Day? After all, Sir John A. Macdonald was the first Prime Minister of our great Dominion. Now, predictably, if you can believe it, some in the mainstream media are denouncing this. Check out what the Globe and Mail had to say. Here's their headline, quote, Sir John A. Macdonald statue to be uncovered at Queen's Park, sparking new tensions with First Nations, end quote. Isn't it incredible, folks? The Globe and Mail relies on Canadian tax dollars, but they hate Canada. They hate Canadian history. They hate you. And the question arises, when this coffin is disassembled, how will the statue be policed? Will law enforcement continue to turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to those paint bombing the Sir John A. Macdonald statue? You know, again, it speaks to the two-tier law enforcement and selective prosecution in our land, doesn't it? I mean, less than 2 kilometers to the east is the gay village here in Toronto. Do you know, if someone were to do a burnout on one of those rainbow crosswalks, you would be charged, and it would be with a hate crime. Hey, not so much when it comes to vandalizing the statue of our nation's first Prime Minister. And we brought you the news a couple of months ago of Daniel Tate. He was charged criminally, if you can imagine, for writing graffiti on the coffin, namely a message saying, Sir John, here, check out my interview with Mr. Tate.
And they damage and vandalize public property with impunity. No one's been charged. Yet here I am, a Canadian who's paid his taxes, worked his whole life, wrote Free John on some cheap plywood, and I'm facing up to 2 years in prison. And normal Canadians need to wake up to what's going on.
Yeah, so that is a criminal matter, but when the mob comes and starts bombing it with paint, trying to pull it down, nothing to see here, folks. But then again, We have seen this the last 19 months here in Toronto. We have seen the pro-Hamas hooligans chanting for genocide in the street, shooting up Jewish schools, committing vandalism, carrying out assault. And what do the police do? Well, nothing. Well, that's not true. On cold days, they'll bring them coffee and Timbits. And if there's any pesky, peaceful counter demonstrators or members of the independent media around, they'll be arrested. But enough about that. Let us hope sooner rather than later this upcoming summer, this despicable coffin comes down and that we can display the first Prime Minister of our nation in all his glory. Look, Sir John A. Macdonald was a great man. He was also a flawed man. Any great man or great woman fits into that category. I don't think we do anything by erasing history. I don't think we do anything productive by embracing cancel culture. Let's have a discussion about Sir John A. Macdonald's greatest accomplishment and, yes, his flaws. That is the way to move forward. When they do take down this despicable coffin, we'll be here that day, assuming they announce it ahead of time. This, finally, is something to celebrate. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, I know you love it when Rebel News tells you the other side of the story, but the fact is we can't do it without you. Unlike the mainstream media, we don't accept a nickel's worth of Mark Carney money, nor would we accept it if it was ever offered. Please go to rebelfieldreports.com. That's rebelfieldreports.com. And if you're able to, kindly make a donation.